I would like to extend greetings to my Buddhist friends in Vancouver. I understand that today you've all gathered as part of a United Sangha undertaking to celebrate Vesak together. And we all know that Vesak is the most important holiday in the Buddhist calendar. In the Theravada tradition, it commemorates the birth, the enlightenment, and the passing away of the Buddha. In the Northern tradition, it commemorates the birth of the Buddha. It's very important for members of the Sangha to meet together, not only on holidays and for celebrations, but also from time to time to meet to discuss issues of common concern. I'll mention two major issues of common concern. First is the need to ensure that the Sangha continues on from the present generation to the next generation. And since you are all living in the Western Hemisphere, in Canada, perhaps in some parts of the United States, it's important to see that you're able to propagate the Dhamma amongst the American and Canadian peoples. Too often, the different Buddhist temples tend to live in isolated cultural spheres which are based upon the culture of their home countries. The Thai temple is the center for the Thai Buddhists, the Sri Lankan temple, the center for the Sri Lankan Buddhists, the Chinese temple or monastery, the center for the Chinese Buddhists, and yet there's very little attempt to extend the Dhamma outwards to the people, the native people of these countries. So it's important to propagate the Dhamma and to ensure that there are younger Sangha members who are fluent in English and in Canada perhaps in French as well, who are able to speak and to convey the Dhamma and to do so with an understanding of the needs of the modern mind, not just to perform the traditional rituals. The second major area in which the Sangha has a role to play, I say, is to serve as a voice for Buddhist values in the world today. And of the many different Buddhist values that we can mention, I would say the most important are loving kindness and compassion, but not just as blind emotional states, but rather we have to determine how to apply loving kindness and compassion in accordance with wisdom to solve some of the major, great, overwhelming problems that face the world today. And amongst these problems, I'll mention three major problems in which Buddhist values can make an important contribution. One of these is the persistence of warfare, and particularly by the attempts of many countries around the world to build up their military arsenals, their arsenals of weapons, and to continue to develop nuclear weapons. As Buddhists, we are staunch advocates for peace and cooperation, and so we should contribute our perspective to promote a more peaceful world, a world based upon peaceful resolution of conflict rather than upon resort to war and destruction. A second area is the great economic divide between the super rich, who also become super powerful, and everybody else, particularly in countries like the United States. The middle class is being decimated, and more money is being funneled just into the hands of a few extremely wealthy people. As Buddhists, we have to advocate for the promotion of human welfare, and that means to promote an economy that will work for everyone and that will ensure a more just distribution of wealth and the provision of essential services, healthcare, child support, other types, old age security, and so forth for those in need. And then a third major area in which Buddhists should be making a very vocal contribution is the environment, particularly the increase in climate change. If the climate continues to change, it will have devastating consequences for people all around the world. And it's the wealthy countries which have contributed the most to the carbon emissions, and it's the responsibility of the wealthy countries, the powerful wealthy countries, to take on the leadership in moving towards an economy based entirely upon renewable sources of energy. And so as Buddhists, we should be in the forefront of the movement to establish a new economy that doesn't devastate the climate and the environment. So in these ways, by coming together, Buddhists of different communities, of different schools, can share this platform of values and speak with one voice to create a more just, more peaceful, and more prosperous world for everyone. Thank you, and may all blessings and happiness be with you on this important day of Vesak.